At the top of every parent's worst nightmare must be the prospect of outliving your own child, and that's exactly what happened to my next guest when 3 years ago he lost his son Adam at just 4 years of age. And to help him cope and to help keep Adam's memory alive, he has written a series of very beautiful award-winning books, and I'd like you to welcome, please, Mr. Benji Bennett. Welcome. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
I mentioned Adam, of course, and I think it's only appropriate to start talking to you about him, because I know what it's like to see a 1 and a 2 and a 3-year-old and the way they work and how much fun and excitement there is. Tell me about what sort of a little fella he was.
Well, he was probably every parent's absolute dream child, to be honest with you. He had this beautiful golden curly hair, sun-kissed brown skin, beautiful brown eyes, and mad into sport. Yeah. So he was just really quite an incredible little guy. He was with his younger brother Robbie at the time, absolutely loved him and minded him, and he was a good old punching bag for Harry as well, sometimes, the older brother.
What did he like? What was his thing?
Football, tennis, golf. He had this amazing swing on him, which we're seeing in our Robbie now. He's kind of coming into the same age that Adam.
So even at a young age, you could see that he was into stuff outdoors and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did he get sick?
Funnily enough, it was a day exactly like today. It was August on a Friday, believe it or not, and he just vomited. Everything was fine. He was a bit kind of tired for a week maybe before that, but he just vomited. And we went, oh God, tummy bug. After 3 days, he was still getting sick, and we went, okay, we better bring him to the hospital because we were afraid of dehydration. And driving up, we were in Britas Bay, so he was out playing and running around. And when we went up to bring him into hospital to check him out, to get him rehydrated, within about 30 minutes of being admitted, he had a seizure. Now,
tell me, when they brought Adam in, did they look at him and say, okay, this is more serious than a tummy bug, or?
No, they didn't really say too much. They just kind of said, yeah, there's something wrong with him here. They didn't know what it was. They had no idea what it was. And they said, yeah, he's not well. He is very dehydrated because he kept on getting sick and he couldn't keep anything down. So, yeah, they didn't realise there was anything serious.
Okay, and you were in the room with him when he had a seizure?
Yeah, I was holding him because he actually got sick, and he was on a drip. He got sick. I was holding on to him, and he just totally went tense, and then collapsed, and his head went into my shoulder, and that was pretty much it. I just said, nurse, what's going on? And then all hell broke loose. The doctors came in, they took him away from me, and I was there, was he okay? And, I just backed off. I didn't want to get in the way of what they were doing. So it was straight into intensive care to stabilise him, get him breathing onto the respiratory. So it was, of course, at that stage, he's fine, can't wait to get home and tell everybody all about this story. Oh God, I've got such a fright today. And that's all that was going through in my head. Yeah. He was the healthiest guy you could ever imagine, and there was no way there was anything wrong with him, Yeah.
So. And when did that change?
It changed over a slow period of time, really, to be honest. It wasn't anything that suddenly, but then they came along with an X-ray or a scan, because they scanned him, and the worst news was that he had a very large brain tumour that we didn't know anything about, and it was one of those, oh my God, can we help him? And we were told it was about the size of a tennis ball. It had burst, and that's really what happened, because it was swelling for such a long time. Then suddenly it burst, and it really was a bleed then that sent him into his condition, and they operated on him. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, the way he'd come into the world on a nice sunny day at 6 o'clock in the morning, he left us.
Were you there when he?
Oh yes,
you and Jackie, your wife, were there.
We were all there. Our family had time to come in. We were very lucky in that way that we did have time.
Did you know it was the worst was going to? I mean,
after the operation,
you felt?
Yeah, we had known at that stage.
How do you count for that in your brain, in your head?
You do. It's very strange. You don't. You write up. You don't really realise actually what's happening. Yeah. It's very. There's no way to describe it. We loved Adam so much, and we just sang to him, and we wanted to spend those last minutes in a calm, peaceful way.
What did you sing to him?
Hush Little Baby, Don't You Cry. So that was the song that we sang, and we just kissed him. We took his handprints, we took locks of his hair, and it was just a wait. It was just waiting until, you know, the nurse came in, his blood pressure was dropping, and he just drifted off, and that was it.
Were you able to say goodbye then, do you think?
We said goodbye, but you know, we were very lucky because we never necessarily had to tell him we loved him then, because we told him every day. And anyway, so he knew that, and all the family had time to kind of, you know, get in. So we were, you know, my mum and dad, Jackie's mum, our brothers and sisters, they were all there, and so that was very comforting. And then he was taken away from us.
It's all very sudden and cruel.
Yes, yes. Well, it is, but, you know, everybody has their own cross to bear. So, I mean, you know, myself and Jackie often talk about other people who have been through, you know, a much more difficult phase in our eyes. I mean, you always take what you have and you learn to deal with your pain and how it happened to you. And we look at other people's pain and we go, oh my God, how in God's name have they ever been able to deal with, you know, the sickness or the pain that some of the children are in.
You're a far more forgiving man than I would ever be. I mean, I couldn't imagine life without, especially at that, as you described, that age, and then you had to go through a funeral. I mean, that must have been torture.
It's quite funny. Adam was a very special little fella in a strange kind of way, and we always knew there was something special about him, and he was here for a reason.
Did you?
And the funeral wasn't necessarily so much as saying goodbye, but it's about the start of us remembering him and making sure that he's never forgotten.
Okay.
And really, it was the day of the funeral where his little his little message came out of, you know, just cherish every moment, because it happened so quick. You can't go back. You can't say I love you when they're gone. You have to just, say it every day. When
people, and that's the message that in your book. I always know that from reading them myself. I always would wonder, is it the little things on a given day, such as the little reminders, the song on the radio, the food they like, the character on the TV they like. You must have been constantly reminded, and still to this day.
Yeah.
What were the things that you always think, God, if only, or...
Well, you get stopped in your tracks. The most serious one where I actually couldn't walk, I couldn't take another step. I had to ring Jackie. I made the mistake of looking in the window of the school he would have gone into. And, oh God, when I think of it now. I went to, it's just the bottom of Booterstown, and I went around the corner and I just absolutely broke down. And I literally couldn't walk. I said, Jack, you have to come down and get me. I cannot make it. I just can't make it up the road. And they're the types of things. And then now Robbie, who was 3.5, he's going to be 4 in the weekend of Adam's anniversary. So there's a lot, and very lucky. There's a huge amount of memories, and that's all you want. You want to be able to get those fleeting little glimpses. Anything you'll grasp onto anything to get that moment. And we're blessed with all of our family that we do get all of those.
Well, Jackie, good evening. How are you?